Travis Wayne Goodsell. The Mormon Christ can be found by seeking for him in a footnote chain of Joseph Smith History 140, Acts 3, 22, 23, Deuteronomy 18, 15 through 19, Doctrine and Covenants 103, 16, and down to 18 or 19, I think. 2nd Nephi, chapter 3, 7 through 15, and Moses 1:41. In Deuteronomy 18, there's the additional information after that about a false prophet. Well, that pattern of the man like Moses, the Christ of Mormons, and the false prophet is in Doctrine and Covenants, section 85, verses 8 and 9. Verse 8 is the false prophet who shall die. Mormons have been deceived by the church into thinking that any Mormon who thinks that they can take over the church will get struck by lightning. And so Mormons do the little lightning knell on their foreheads when somebody says something blasphemous and miss the whole context. It was the year before Brigham Young died when Brigham Young finally consented to put this section in our Doctrine and Covenants. It wasn't going to be put in, much like July 1840B, Brigham Young never did put in. It refers to section 101's parable, but nope, did not want that one put in. And so he wasn't going to put this one in because this relates to it. And if you're not even going to bother to look it up, you have no business commenting or hating. We all know as Mormons, you cannot be saved in ignorance. So verse 7, section 85, is about the one mighty and strong, holding a scepter of power, the iron rod, because he's supposed to set in order the temple. Now, asterisk President Joseph Fielding Smith Sr. was confronted by Mormons who were upset with him, and some were thinking they were the one mighty and strong because Joseph Fielding Smith Sr. was fallen for not being militant in enforcing polygamy, that the United States had shut down the church. Thus, asterisk president. He wasn't a legitimate president of the church. Oh no, he lied. Well, asterisk President Wilford Woodruff, in his official declaration, likewise says that all those who yeah, he wasn't president either. And so in Revelation chapter 12, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. So obviously this is supposed to be taken literally, just like the Book of Mormon, just like the Gospels, just like all of the Bible, so that we can screw over science. There's an 8,000-year-old skeleton found in Minnesota's river, I think it was, Minnesota. I think I saw on the news. 8,000-year-old humans in America, huh? It must be the pre-Adamites. Don't mess with science. When you allow your religious bias to interfere, you're doing it wrong. And so, verse 5, she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with the Book of Mormon, the iron rod. So it's the same guy. He's just called different names. But there's something very interesting, and Joseph Smith is right on top of this, as there's a Joseph Smith translation, Revelation 12, 1 through 17. Moves verse 5 to verse 3, which means it's part of that sign in the heavens, which was 23rd September 2017. But in verse 4, after the sign of President Monson dying, third part of the stars fall from heaven, cast them to the earth. The dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be devoured, for to devour her son as soon as he was born. Not it. Jesus may be an it, created by Constantine, because when you create a god, he's not real. So you call it an it. It's called anthropomorphizing. If you turn a supernatural, non-existent deity into a human being. So, who is this dragon? Well, it's the great and abominable church. It is Babylon. In Revelation, in the Book of Mormon, in Doctrine and Covenants. And like I said, stay away from 19 July 1840 B Mormons. Don't look it up in the Joseph Smith papers. Joseph Smith is a false prophet. Don't do it. Stay away. Trust the church. They wouldn't lie to you like the great and abominable church would. Yes. The great and abominable church knows of these prophecies and have been looking for the one mighty and strong to have him murdered. So Mormons, are you going to believe in Jesus, or are you going to actually cut it out and look for your true Christ, the one who will restore Joseph Smith's church after he was assassinated and his church taken over by the great and abominable church? Again, section 103:16, the man like Moses frees Mormons from the Mormon church, but if the Mormons don't want to be freed, they ain't gonna go. They're gonna help with the murder. Screw it, let's take all day to upload this one video. Joseph Fielding Smith Sr. came out with a first presidency message saying that all these imposters are false and that Section 85 is null and void because W.W. Phelps repented. He didn't actually repent. Did the video back in the days when I could upload long videos. But Avram Gileadi, I'm sure the majority of you know him. He was excommunicated from the church, a part of September 6, in which he was publishing about the one mighty and strong, even though he was also talking about Jesus. The church didn't want him talking about the one mighty and strong, and so they excommunicated him. He freaked out. Oh no, my membership in the church is the most important thing in my life. It must be a mistake. He didn't understand that you can't show Joseph Smith is true even if you merge with falsehood. And so he repented. I think he still does publishing, but ensures that everybody knows that the church is true. And so he was allowed back, rebaptized, which means that his excommunication is still held. It's not the true church if they do such things. But yeah, the church wants to cover it up and keep it a secret. That's why they won't publish 19 July 1840B. Do you guys get it? So are you even looking for the person, or is it just like, nah, Joseph Smith was wrong. I mean, he was right about the Great and Abominable Church, Book of Mormon. Wow, that was even before Brigham Young joined the church. But Joseph Smith is wrong. He doesn't know what he's talking about. There's no such guy that's going to appear, and because he's supposed to do magic stuff and save us from having to do anything. We don't have to protest the church and demand that they stop their crimes, because they'll excommunicate us. Well, if you're that afraid of the church ain't true. But all the prophecies have to fit a checklist, because there have been numerous people, even those who have commented on my channels, who claim to be the one mighty and strong. And yes, there's at least one guy who claims to be the one mighty and strong, who's very popular and gets lots of views and has lots of believers. Dumbasses. He doesn't fit the checklist of scripture prophecy. He's a false Christ. And yet you follow him and you trust him. You probably give him money. Dumb. It's like giving money to the church. Dumb. They're false. False prophets. Are you unaware that the scriptures talk about false prophets? Should we go over those? That was supposed to be a separate video. I mean, we got the Book of Mormon. You think the church is just going to exist without a false prophet leading the Great and Abominable Church? No, there's going to be a false prophet, false Christ, leading the Great and Abominable Church. But you don't think. You get carried away in the moment. Oh yeah, he's standing up to the church. I'm going to follow him. God. Jesus Christ came to me and appeared to me at the spires of the Salt Lake Temple. I'm therefore the one mighty and strong. Oops, did I reveal too much? I commented to him, so he didn't appear to you in the Holy of Holies. He never commented back. Verse 20 in Deuteronomy 18, but the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or shall speak in the name of other gods, like Jesus, even that prophet shall die. And so yes, they don't have a link to section 85. Why not? Church service missionaries. Oh, the prophets wouldn't let you, huh? Like they wouldn't give you the chain that I just gave you. Section 85, verse 8. While that man, who was called of God and appointed, Brigham Young was, but for the president of the 12, not the first presidency, that putteth forth his hand to steady the ark of God, as only the president of the church can do, shall fall by the shaft of death, like as a tree that is smitten by the vivid shaft of lightning. Brigham Young took a while to die, but thanks to asterisk President Wilford Woodruff, we know how God was going to let Mormons know Brigham Young was wrong. Lunar eclipses. Hey, we just had one. There's still a news thing on the news feed saying, watch the lunar eclipse. This lunar eclipse was part of a tetrad. Stars fall from heaven, sun shall be darkened, moon turn to blood. That means tetrad now, because we're in the latter days. The scriptures are now being revealed in real time. And so the fall of the great and abominable church is supposed to happen any time now. I mean, today would be an excellent day for evil, because it's 2222, which is 2 11s. And there's just no 9 involved. But we're waiting for a Pearl Harbor event. Because the church is scared and pulled their money out into offshore accounts from the stock market. So, yeah, you need to be looking for somebody the church wants assassinated, and get suckers and loser Mormons to do the assassination for them, because they're cowards. But lunar eclipses, I've done the video, showed you how each and every single president of the church has fallen by lunar eclipses. And I think I did the video for you in which I showed you that Brigham Young also had solar eclipses. Didn't I? Or did I not do that one for you? Do I need to put that in here? And show that it was the vivid shaft of lightning? Should be under Brigham. Yep. Yeah, I did this video for you guys. I recognize the pattern here, or the picture. Nobody cared. Because the church is true, regardless of whether it's true or not. Because if we don't study our scriptures, we'll never learn the truth, and we can be saved in ignorance. SNL had a skit on the mental illness disease of stupidity. Awesome. So yeah, 9 August 1877, there was a solar eclipse. That's the right eye for government. Brigham Young started his own government. And so yeah, I'm surprised I didn't even check for this earlier, but I did, and there it was, confirmed. And so the 23rd of August, 1877 was the one I listed on the lunar chart for you. That's the lunar eclipse. And then Brigham Young died 29 August, 1877. And then 7 September, 1877, 1 month later, a solar eclipse. So yeah, it's very clear that Wilford Woodruff obviously was referring to this. Can't you Mormons even get it? The Mormon Church is the only branch off from Brigham Young that is not militant, that is not aggressively pursuing through violence to have women in sex slavery of polygamy. Really? You think the church is true because of that one reasoning? When the church controls the whole government of Utah, They're the ones seeking to assassinate the one who is to restore the church of Joseph Smith. They are not innocent. They need to all be locked up again. No pardons. It's actually a death penalty when you contract assassination. And so there's the sign in the heaven for his death day down below. I mean, what does it take? Are you guys really that cowardly that you would rather give up your soul to the devil than fight for truth? Fight for your freedom? Are you seriously unaware of who could be the guy? Do you not understand how prophecy works? You're supposed to know Paleo-Hebrew. That's pre-Babylonian captivity Hebrew. He's supposed to know Egyptian. Still can't figure it out? I've given you his name. I've given you the prophecies of events in his life as a Mormon. Can you not figure it out? And yet you'll let him die so that the great and abominable church wins. Good job, Mormons. You've lost your eternal exaltation. Good job.